When you plant Wyffels Hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Wyffels.
Welcome back, guys. We are in studio for Iowa State's bye week. We are doing a mailbag episode today, if you didn't get the memo, but the boys will be answering all your burning questions. As I say every week, shout out to our presenting sponsor, Wyffels Hybrids, huge supporters of Iowa State athletics and Cyclone Fanatic. Guys, how we feeling? Bye week. Nice little break.
Still undefeated.
Yeah.
Can't lose on a bye week. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, I mean, inside you can lose on a bye week because as players, you know when you can actually lose on a bye week. But us as fans, we can't lose on a bye week.
Yeah, you can enjoy your Saturday a little bit. You know, went to Home Depot yesterday, got some wallpaper and some flooring. We even had time for some Bed Bath & Beyond.
Wow.
Wow, that sounds
Productive.
like a
Get some good
really fun
candles.
day.
Can anyone name the movie I just referenced?
Not at all, brother.
Aiden's got it. Old school, man.
Oh. I haven't seen that in a long time.
I don't think I ever have.
It's good. It's good. You should pull up that clip after this.
Well, we have tons of questions. So huge shout out to everyone who submitted questions through the forums, through Twitter, on Facebook. We highly appreciate that. There's a lot of really good stuff in here that you guys can tackle.
Let's do it.
So we can start right at the top of the list. I will say I didn't write who wrote these, who submitted these. So if you hear your question, yay. I just did not write who all submitted them. That was, like I said, a lot of questions. But we can start at the top of this giant list that I have. Who is the most fun to sit with on the bus/plane or room with on a road trip, and why?
It's a great question. So many names come to the top of your mind.
I feel like there's definitely going to be criteria because, like, like when you're on a plane or on the bus, like you don't want to be next to someone who's taking up a bunch of space. But then when you get into a rooming situation, it kind of doesn't matter as long as they're like clean.
And it depends. Like, hey, are you on the bus ride from an opponent's hotel to like the game, or are you like about to take off, going down to Des Moines, getting ready for the flight, and what's going on here? Because those are two very different people you want to sit by, probably.
One name that comes to mind was Trevor Down was always a hoot. Maybe you wouldn't want to room with him. He's a little mess. Dude,
I've
did a
roomed
lot,
with him,
but
yeah.
I mean,
a lot of cards.
Him on the plane and the bus rides. He was a good one. He was at least funny. We used to play that game. What was that game we used to play? I forget.
Spades.
I remember we played Crazy. We played Crazy 8 on the phone all the time. On the
Crazy 8.
Crazy
Yep.
8
On the bus rides.
I remember my first away game. I sat next to Roy Walling, and that was, Roy Walling is just a funny person, anyways. But that was the most fun on a plane ride I've ever had, just because he is just hilarious. I was messing with him in his sleep.
I would say my favorite guy to sit by was Greg Iceworth, because that dude was he was so funny. Like, that dude was undefeated. Like, he would entertain himself, I swear. If he was like sitting by himself, he would totally entertain himself.
He could definitely talk to a wall.
Oh
my God. To a wall
but he was it was just so crazy to see like his personality be able to be like when I say like, hey, where do you sit by this guy and when do you sit by this guy? Because he has this time where he's locked in. But like when he's able to like cut loose and not be in football mode and be like, hey, this is just what we want to talk about. Oh my gosh, I never remember our senior night. We're coming into play or whatever, and he's like waving to like fans in the stadium. Like we're right down like the bus, and he's like waving to fans and stuff because they're like all waving to us. So he's just like, I'm waving back to them. I'm being nice. So he was always so funny, but such a good dude too.
Chuck too. Chuck comes to mind. Charlie. I think a lot of people are seeing that now. His stuff that he's been doing for the Ravens, and oh my gosh, the dude's
personality is hilarious.
A gem, dude.
He's so smart.
Yeah,
so smart.
I roomed with you. That wasn't a bad one, except when you had surgery and couldn't shower.
Oh yeah, I apologize, man. I remember it was the Fiesta Bowl, and I couldn't shower for like, I don't even know, it was like a week because I couldn't do it in the hotel.
Mind you, I lived with him. I lived with him at the time.
It just wasn't very easy to do all the cleaning stuff in the hotel. And I remember Campbell and Vite came in to do our night before,
bed
checks or whatever, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, what is that smell?"
Awful.
I was like, "Sorry, I get my staples out tomorrow, coach, and then I can shower." And then after the game, you wanted to shower first when we got back to the hotel. I'm like, "Dude, no, I need to."
I think that's one thing that people don't realize is like the bed checks that coaches would do both in fall camp and on like home and away games. Like the night before a game, like Coach Campbell, your position coach, and then Coach Vite would come around and like pretty much would be like, "Hey, y'all good?" Like pretty much make sure you're in your room essentially.
Coach Vite was just that morale guy with Campbell.
It was so much fun. Like they would always be coming in like either like with something that they're like, "Hey, like you're gonna play tomorrow. This is what's going on." Kind of get you ready, like last things before the night before. But then sometimes they were just in goofy moods. Like everyone would have football on or watching. They'd be like, "What are you watching tonight?" Or
I was
like,
room with Bree, so Coach Campbell always came in on some weird, just being so rowdy before a game. It was hilarious.
oh yeah, there's always hilarious stuff that would come through those that night before bed checks.
Yeah.
How did your roommates get picked? Like, was that pre-assigned by the staff, or could you guys pick? Or
Sometimes, I mean, with seniority, like you kind of got to choose. But when you come in, like fall camp, they give you, if you're a younger guy, they give you an older guy to room with all of fall camp. So you kind of have just somebody to keep you accountable and to learn from,
Walk you through
and stuff
it.
like that. And then for games, it really just depends on who obviously makes the travel list. And then they divvy it up. Then sometimes they put like corners with corners, wide receiver, like in your position group, so you can also keep each other accountable to get to the meetings and everything like that before games.
Yeah, I always roomed with Trevor, and we just kind of did like all the time, so it kind of just worked out. But in fall camp, especially like freshmen, typically you can't take your car, so like you gotta like be roomed with someone where it's like
I don't think they do that anymore.
they don't do that anymore.
But that was
I
terrible.
think my freshman year was the last time they did that. And
Oh, really?
Even that year, I got to take my car because I was there a couple weeks earlier.
Yeah.
And made the Champions Club that
Oh,
that
there we
summer
go.
or whatever like that.
Change it.
But
Yeah,
they don't
but-
do that anymore.
And you remember in COVID, they had to do roommate assignments by who you lived with.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So if you didn't live with anyone, you had a room to yourself.
Well, during COVID,
Oh.
And yeah, so me
I
and
thought
Jirehl-
everyone got a hotel or their own hotel room.
during COVID, I didn't do fall camp at all.
Yeah, no. Shout out Mr. Triber. That one. That was
Yeah,
awesome.
I forgot about that.
yeah, I guess I forgot you guys would have gone through some weird stuff with COVID.
Oh, so weird.
Oh, but you were talking about just like regular games, like
Yeah.
during COVID.
During
yeah,
COVID,
during
yeah.
COVID, before games, you
Yeah.
whoever you lived with, If you lived with somebody,
Yeah.
you got to room with them. Some people lived. They did like single person hotel rooms,
Right.
for them, just to keep everybody split up, so nobody got passed on COVID.
Weird times to think back on.
Right.
What is something in the day-to-day routine of being on the team that those of us outside of the team don't see that you will cherish long after you are gone from Iowa State?
Man, so many. It's just the little things. So, my sister's boyfriend plays for UNI. So I went to that game yesterday to watch him, and I was walking out, and just the smell of the buses after a game, and I mean, so nostalgic.
What was this question again?
What are you gonna miss about the team?
Of the day-to-day routine. Of your day-to-day
Day-to-day
routine.
stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
go ahead.
that just happened yesterday, and I got like
a nostalgic moment.
moment. Like I was like, man, that I can smell the memories of either a win or a loss, either or. So that just happened yesterday. So I mean, it still continues to happen. Just day to day stuff like that.
I would say for me, it was like the locker room.
Yeah.
Like it didn't matter if it was like morning, like you were, you know what I mean? It didn't matter what time of the day you were, especially when we got the new locker room. People would hang out in there a lot more, like in the middle of the locker room where there's like the video games and TVs and stuff like that. I feel like Coach Campbell always did a good job of like having a team that wanted to be together. So it's just a lot of time in the locker room before practice, after practice, in the morning, before stuff's even going on, in the training room, things like that, where built in every single day you're going to see your boys. You know what I mean? You're going to spend a lot of time with them. Where when you like get out of it, it's like, hey, like you live over here, I live over here. Like we got to meet up and do something to do that. So just like the locker room, being able to just hang out with the guys every day was something I miss.
Yeah, and to kind of add on top of that, I'd say for me it was the pool table. I was a pool shark. I'll go in there and run everybody. Yeah, Jake. Yeah, I was a
big buck hunter.
I was pool. Yeah, so I think for me, you know, my pool game has went down a lot since being in the locker room last. But that made it easy to kind of, especially just being there all the time. It just made it easy to keep up with my pool skills.
See, these are all the core memories that just come back. Like, I totally forgot about how much pool we used to play in the locker room.
Bro, I feel pool and ping pong, we used to play so much.
Everybody's so competitive too, and like all are like fairly athletic, hand-eye coordination, things like that. So there was a lot of like really good competition, either pool or ping pong or like video. It didn't matter what it was. It was always a competition because like you ain't gonna go out there and lose to a defensive guy or someone like that. So it always seemed like it was a lot of healthy competition, but a lot of fun.
So other than Jirehl clearly being the pool king, were you guys involved in anything like that? Like, were you at the front of any heated games?
We'd play a lot of cards.
Oh,
we played spades a lot. And
him and Trevor against.
We didn't lose
against Indy and Isaiah all the time.
Yeah, it didn't really matter. We were always playing them, and we fared pretty well. We didn't lose many games to them. To many people in cards, really.
I don't know if I had one, to be honest.
No, Jake.
I wasn't very good at most things we did in the locker room. So
my man was in the training room.
Yeah,
he was the lead at recovery.
I was gonna say though, like
I was the king of the training room.
Like smelling the chlorine always kind of puts me back into that training room.
That's it. That's my my
his
thing.
nostalgia. The smells.
The smells for him.
I'll always talk about this. Speaking of smells, the jerseys on game day, they put that. I don't know. I've ran this by guys in the locker room before, and everyone's like, I don't really notice anything. Some guys, if I find like a piece of clothing, I'm like, here, smell this. Doesn't that smell like game day? And it's this chemical they put on their jerseys. I don't know what it is, but if you smelled it right now, you'd be like, oh, that smells like the other team's jerseys.
Might be starch.
It might be, yeah. I don't know. But every time, it smells the same with every single team. It doesn't matter who you're playing.
Were you a smelling salts guy, Remy?
Oh, loved them.
Oh, my gosh.
Loved them.
Fred would come around with that bottle all the time. Yeah.
We should have brought smelling salts today.
Oh, my gosh. We'd be going crazy right now.
You know, I kind of forgot about that. I might need to put some in my car when I go to work in the morning.
Just to get a
little nostalgic.
The smells, when he kept on bringing up smells, I was like, that brought me back to the locker room, like pregame when Fred would be like, bring around, squeeze him, be like, I'm going to hold it myself because you're not about to pump
he
would be right in my eyes and I can't see for the first 20 minutes of the game. Like, let me do it myself and actually go to my nose.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
That's just a little something that we take before the game to get us kind of like pumped up.
Why didn't we bring some, dude? I'm going to put some in my
Because we don't need it anymore.
Because we're sitting recording a podcast.
We're sitting recording
Sunday afternoon, just...
You're like getting ready for 49ers kick or something, and you're like break one up. And I love when you see like kickers do them like right before, and like you see them on the field, they'll be like smelling it and throwing it on the ground.
I saw one time someone had a smelling salt on their face mask like during the game.
Oh, that doesn't surprise me, bros.
Yeah.
I see a lot of people like taking out mid-play.
Like 12 or 15 play drive, like play 7. I need a little.
It's actually not a bad idea.
It's a great idea.
Wow, nostalgia, man. How did you guys learn the fight song? Or really just, I think it's a good insight into you're a freshman, you're new. What are you doing? Like, what are some of those things like that? How do you learn the song?
Well, it might be a little bit different now.
Right.
But I remember like when, it was probably the same when you were a freshman too.
Yep.
Like we would all come in, and it'd be a couple weeks before the game, like right after not spring ball, a fall camp ended. And the band would come in. We would pile up as a team, all the newcomers. So, like, not even just new players, but new coaches, new any like staff. They would get a piece of paper with the lyrics on it, and you'd have to sing it in front. Well, so the band would play it, and everybody would sing it first, and then all the newcomers would have to sing it to the rest of the team while the band was playing as well. So I thought it was kind of cool just to be able to, like, that was our first interaction with the band, just like kind of football team on band when we first got there. So I thought that was a cool like experience.
It was cool because it like truly was everyone. So like if you transferred in and you're like a fifth year senior transferring, like you were doing a grad transfer. But you got to see a lot of personality with like guys who like to dance or you know what I mean. People would be getting into like all this sort of stuff, and that was one of those moments that you remember where there's a lot of personality that would always come out in the fight song.
Yeah, I remember. I think a band member came up to me one time, or I don't know, and there's a part of the Iowa State fight song that people like mess up sometimes. And I've seen it in a couple of the post game videos sometimes, and I've done it too. I forget which lyric part it is, but I think it's funny that there's that one part that some people mess up sometimes. But I don't know what they do now. But
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I mess it up and I kind of just go with the beat.
Just like act excited.
And as long as you can start it, like I think. And then everybody else is like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Someone start.
Everyone kind of rolls into the
fighting forward.
That's awesome.
What is your favorite / least favorite meals at the training table?
Oh, we could do this all day.
We need a separate podcast for it.
The food's definitely a lot better now. I mean,
yeah.
With the Stark Performance Center, it's definitely a lot better now than when we first got there. During COVID, it was weird because we like had to go and pick up like groceries.
That was kind of nice,
but that was low key kind of nice because you definitely
everyone got to cook at home and make like if you didn't like your food, it was on you.
But now, I mean, I feel like everything's definitely Mondays after wins. The food's a lot better because it's Victory Monday.
Yeah, I think they do it on Tuesday now. After practice on Tuesday.
That used to be
that
used to be a lot like when I can't remember early on. So it was in the Jacobson building,
right?
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be a lot like Hy-Vee would cater us a lot of days, or it'd be like a local restaurant or something like that. And I feel like they've definitely stepped up their game with the Stark Performance Center, where it's like, I'm not that picky about my food, but there were some meals it's like you can't even. It's tough to consume a little bit.
Yeah,
they've gotten a lot better. Where like towards when they build that Stark Performance Center, they got full-time chefs there all the time and making mass amounts of food, and it was always pretty solid there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I remember the wing days. I think it was Wednesdays.
Oh, wings were great.
Oh my, they're boneless. Oh. That was my
wings
favorite
were great.
day.
People would just go up there and take boxes of wings home.
Yeah.
I might be biased because it's my favorite food group. So, I mean, I love them. That was my favorite. But there was for sure, Stark still had its days where you were kind of like, what? I'll take the burger.
Yeah, and I remember being on like the nutrition committee, like for the players, where when they actually like started looking at that as like a big part of like where they were failing the players and the team and what they were doing with that, and seeing them make the big change, and the nutritionist being a very big part in that.
One of the best meals I ever had was after the West Virginia game in 2019 when we ran for like 280 yards.
Yeah,
we had some nice steaks waiting for us when we got back that day. That was I won't forget that.
I remember that.
I will not forget that. That was good.
Yeah, I've heard about some of the victory meals, and they sound pretty fancy.
I'm a big fan of lobster.
Great, yeah.
Just win, baby.
Just win.
Well, changing tune into uniforms, which has been your favorite uniform to wear?
I mean, cliche would be black, I feel like, but I like the all whites.
See, I'm the same boat, dude. I like the all whites.
Or white helmet, black face mask,
and black
decal,
yeah.
Black jersey, white pants.
The TCU,
black,
TCU. That's my favorite combination that we've ever done too.
Yeah.
Those are sweet.
I always felt so great though going to like on the road and you're in the all whites.
All whites.
You're like, let's go.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I like the blacks.
I'm a big fan of the black.
Don't get me wrong. The red top white helmet,
Another
white
good
pants.
Bottoms.
Another good one.
Yep.
I don't necessarily. I mean, I don't necessarily like the red on red
Right.
as much as like red on white.
Did you dislike any of the uniforms? Because I didn't dislike any of our uniforms.
I did. All red.
All red.
Didn't like it.
That's definitely my
Just
least.
personal.
That's my least favorite. I
Yeah.
didn't dislike it. When
Exactly.
we wore reds, like
That's a
it
good
was.
point, yeah.
It was my least favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys like the new uniforms?
Yeah, I like them.
I think they look really nice. They're sharp.
Yeah, those.
I don't mind.
uniforms.
I don't think I would mind the all reds on that one as much
No.
because I feel like it's a lighter red. Our reds were like darker and kind of didn't match as well.
I feel like college uniforms in general, like every couple years, people are getting new jerseys.
Yeah, I think it has to do with like your contract or something. If, like
I just never see
Cool.
better. I just better never see us with a yellow jersey.
you don't think so?
No,
I
bro.
think if I recall, you were the one that picked the yellow jersey on our recruiting visit.
What are you talking about? I did pick the yellow jersey, the old ones. No,
Yeah.
wait a minute, I picked the gray one. No, okay.
The gray
I know
is-
what recruiting visit you're talking about now. I did pick the yellow one in that one. That one, I was young and stupid.
The gray uniforms were terrible because they were. Were you guys here for the gray uniforms?
No, but that was my visit when they played Iowa that year.
So those jerseys like didn't have any stretch to them, and it's like when you would sweat, they'd go from like gray to like they would truly change colors.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, that wasn't it.
that was the first. That was the first black jersey.
Like, wait, this black jersey.
Wait a minute.
We
Get a little water on them.
You might be doing something here.
I love the black, but we all know how people feel about the black uniforms.
Yeah, they can eat it.
Very passionate.
Yeah, players like them.
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Our record's good in them too. So
True. What are you laughing at?
It's just good being back with the fellas.
Okay, looking at your practices, your least favorite drill during practice.
Ooh. Great question, whoever asked this one, by the way.
I mean,
I think 2-minute drill has got to be my number one answer. I mean, it's important, obviously, to look at our last game. But those can just be we always do it at the end of the practice, too, so you're already exhausted. And as an old lineman, 2-minute drill is, like, not fun at all. You're
straight pass rush.
Pass rush for, it can be upwards of 10 plays, and you're sprinting every play, and it can be pretty tough. I would rather run the ball 10 times in a row and then, do a pass protection 10 times in a row. So that was for sure. Whenever I saw that in our practice script, I was like, strap in, boys. It's gonna be one today.
Yeah, mine was half line. And it'd be like center, right guard, right tackle, and a tight end on like the right hash. Center, left guard, left tackle, tight end on the left hash. And it would literally be like essentially like you're running plays to the right. So if you're on the right hash, center, right guard, right tackle, tight end, you're running plays to the right. And all you're doing is running the ball. And they have 2 defensive linemen, a safety, linebacker. So like they have you outnumbered already. And they know what you're doing and know what direction you're running the ball. So it's just like, oh my gosh, we're just banging our heads against
Yeah,
the
just getting
wall.
your
Like
ass kicked.
everyone's like chewing ass because like everyone's like, we got to be able to win the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. And it just felt like you're running uphill the entire time. But it certainly did. Certainly made you learn a lot about yourself.
We switched it up though. We throw in some pass pro in there.
Yeah,
just
that
to
was
throw 'em
later.
off.
That
Yeah.
was nice. Once we were like, let's make them
Yeah.
think a little bit.
yeah, they had to definitely stay true to that.
Yeah.
They couldn't just all go out. I think for me, it was probably like 3rd and 7+ because, I mean, as a running back, they were just bringing every single blitz possible.
Yeah.
The defense was, and those were the times where the defense really thought they were doing something, but we were literally starting in 3rd and 7. Like, I hope you can guys
Get off the field.
I hope you guys can get a stop right here. Obviously, like we won sometimes, but
Yeah.
it's a drill that's designed for us to work on it, but it's also designed for the defense
Right.
to win.
Favorite drill though? Backed up.
Backed
play,
up,
first
backed
down.
up, yeah,
You're off the field. Yeah.
backed up. Favorite drill, backed up.
2
for sure.
first downs.
You start on the 1-yard line.
2 first downs.
Yeah.
It's just one.
No, it's just 1 first down.
Was it one?
Yeah, it's one.
Yeah, it was just 1 first down. You get a 1 first down, and that really helped I mean, that happens all the time.
Yeah.
Especially when the first couple weeks you play Iowa and they have a punter that put you in the
Felt like that
line.
watching that game yesterday. It's like, gosh, this entire second quarter they just punted inside the 5-yard line. I
felt so bad for Northwestern.
It's like,
When we look at the locker room, or really the weight room, who pumped you guys up the most, and what were they doing?
Bo Freeler's really good at that, I think.
Yeah.
Towards the last couple, he would always get hyped. I mean, dude's always hyped. I think it was more of a group effort, though, honestly. There wasn't really one guy. Either we had it a day and everyone was hyped and, pumped up, or, it was kind of just a dead lift. So I think it was more of a group effort.
Yeah, in the weight room, too, I feel like the coaches kind of just knew how to get us going.
I feel like the fun days were when they would
they
were like trying to talk smack or whatever, and like you'd have somebody that like talks some back, and then all of a sudden there would be like a little bit of a like beef going on, something fun going on. Through that was always fun days.
What about playing at Iowa State has made you a better version of yourself? How has playing for Iowa State?
Ooh, it's a great Coach Campbell question right there.
Yeah.
Use those 4 years to impact the next 40 or 50 years. I feel like that's true. I feel like the biggest thing for me, at least, watching Coach Campbell and his staff that he puts around him, and then the people he brings into the program, whether it be players, assistants, things like that. He brings good people. He's not willing to sacrifice anything for a super high performer. Can't just be a super high performer. They have to be a good person who cares about people. And I think that's the biggest thing for me in the working world, just realizing like, hey, showing up every single day is so important. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have guys that would just like not show up to practice or not give effort in practice or anything like that, because if you were, you stuck out bad and you didn't last at Iowa State. So I think just seeing like, hey, who you surround yourself with, and then like make sure that everything you do 100% and take care of people is kind of Coach Campbell's motto, and I feel like that can certainly be something that we can all apply towards our lives.
Spot on, Neil.
Yeah, spot on.
I would just add just building relationships, and what you kind of talked about. We were always told that relationships are very important in your life from everyone in that building. So I think that's for sure the one that I probably take with me the most is building relationships. Yeah,
I mean, like in sports, I feel like you learn so much to go into real life. Anyways, just like consistency and everything like that. But at Iowa State, obviously, you really just have to hone in on the details of things, and it kind of makes you do that in your real life as well. So, even after football, it helps you out.
Yeah. Love that. I'm going to use that to take a quick second to give a shout out to our sponsors. Wyffels Hybrids is our presenting sponsor. And as I consistently say, they are Cyclone supporting Cyclones. So when you sign up to work with them and take on their business, you're working with people who care about Iowa State and support Iowa State athletics and Cyclone Fanatic. They are a independent family-owned seed company. They're helping corn growers achieve more productive, profitable crops. You can find out more about Wyffels at wyffels.com. So it's WYFFELS.com. And shout out to Ivy College of Business. They are also huge supporters of Cyclone Fanatic. When making the decision about your future, and if you're interested in business, the Ivy College of Business is one of the top business programs. So check them out.
Shop Wyffels. Shop Ivy College Business.
Yeah.
Get your degree.
So let's see what else we got here. Like I said, we have so many submissions, which is awesome. How about an easy one? Who was the biggest prankster on the team when you guys were there?
I think the Bailey brothers comes to my mind first. Josh and Jaquan, especially as a young freshman, man, I was like, oh my gosh, these guys are something. Just doing prank wars. We had the whole thing going with the Bailey brothers, so I think that they're for sure one of them.
I would say, there's a lot of guys who are funny guys. Not always pranksters, but two guys that come to mind would be Camilo Tangamoa. Him and Carl, the janitor who's been up there forever, like the best, nicest guy in the world. Like Carl is
love Carl,
salt of the earth, and they would always like say it to each other's birthdays.
Oh my gosh!
You remember that? So
Happy birthday, Carl!
They would like decorate like Carl would like go out all out decorating Camilo's locker and be like happy birthday, all these like random things. And it like wasn't his birthday. And they just thought like they would like give each other so much crap about this stuff, like create signs and be like, Carl, it's your birthday. Hey, we gotta get Carl in to break down the team, post game practice because hey, it's Carl's birthday and different things like that. And then Ray Lima was always one of the funniest dudes that I've ever been around in my life.
I feel like the whole running back room was just straight pranksters. Like every year that I was there, like it was just the whole room, and it might have just been the culture that we had as a running back room, but like Breece Hall, Sheldon Cronin, even Kene Nwangwu, like guys that you wouldn't even think, Deion Silas, Eli Sanders, like all pranksters, bro. We obviously had inside jokes and stuff that I'm not gonna spill out here on the internet.
All the secrets.
But and then there was a time where people were getting fart bombs in cars.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that.
Oh yeah,
Breece is a good answer. I remember freshman year Breece, man.
Yeah, we're not gonna go too much into it, but
That's
yeah,
funny.
man, there were some pranks being done. We got a lot of pranksters on the team. All's good in Leavenworth, you know what I'm saying?
See, and it's so funny because we see such different sides of them. They obviously act different when they're doing their interviews or when I'm watching you guys interact on this from being on the sideline. It's just so weird. Again, you say Ray Lima in my head is shy and quiet and was just always very short. And except the Bailey brothers, their personalities.
They can't hide that. You can't hide that.
I was looking up just stuff from past seasons on my phone, and I found a video of Jaquan after the 2018 win over West Virginia, and it's him dead sprinting down the tunnel, yelling, "Take their asses to the locker room." I should have sent it to Aiden so we could share it, but
Jaquan's crazy. I remember one time in practice, it was just a random rep. I got left on we like full slid, and I got left onto him. He tried to hurdle me to get to Brock.
He would practice hard.
That's the thing, though. A little note on that. I think it's the pranks and all that stuff. I think it's a good thing at the end of the day because you're building team culture at the same time, and you're building relationships with your friends. Like us in Ames in the summer when there's no one there.
Gosh.
Oh wait a minute, yeah.
Like how else you can have fun? You gotta do stuff with your guys, like mess around, and.
Honestly, the more we talk about these pranks, more and more of them are coming to my head.
Oh my gosh,
right
yeah, bro. No, there's just one that there was one that I can't talk about at all.
you guys had too much fun, it sounds like. Should I go on to the next one?
Yeah, let's do that. We'll reconvene.
How about what opposing stadium did you most hate to play in?
I don't know if I hated to play in any. I thought all of them were cool because like it was like their culture and
Right,
it was
different place.
Yeah, different place to go out and see. I think personally the hardest place to play would have been Oklahoma State with their like clappers they got on the sidewalls. It could get loud in there. And then Texas would get pretty loud too. So I would say those two places for me I thought were always really great environments. Fans would fill up. Obviously, with Oklahoma State, they had a lot of really good years there, and Texas was, so while we were playing them. But that I'm trying to remember what that was. It must have been 2018 when we went down to Texas. That was after the Baylor game, and David was out the first half of the Texas game. Yep. That was probably the loudest stadium that I ever played in my life. That place was hopping.
Oklahoma State's is awesome. I loved
it, but it's so loud.
I broke my foot there, so I don't like that place.
I feel that. It's like me. Like I tore my pec in Jerry's World, and that's kind of whatever. Still cool to play, and I guess.
So this one I think is a good one, just from some of the things you guys have shared. We see the public persona of the guys in the pros, but what is something people should know about any of them that is not common knowledge?
Oh.
Like, I would love to know what Breece does that makes him so funny.
Bruh. Oh, my goodness. let's find something that we can share on air.
Because Charlie's an easy one, right?
Yeah,
like
he's
he's always
goofy,
funny.
yeah.
And that he's showing it in the NFL. People see that from him now, but
I think Brock is actually hilarious.
Brock's
you
hilarious.
said that before.
He's really good at impersonations and things
Really
like
good
that.
at
Where he's really fun with that stuff.
Bro, we used to play COD together. It would be me, Brock, Chubba, and then one of their buddies from back home. And we would play Warfare all the time, bro. And he's hilarious on there. I don't think people understand how much, like, Brock's people obviously understand how competitive Brock is, but he's like super competitive.
Over
like,
everything.
Over everything. And he's going to talk so much smack, no matter what it is.
I remember I went to, what's that place name's called? Perfect Games? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with Brock one time, and he was playing this little arcade game, and I'd never seen someone get so mad at an arcade game. He's like, come on! I'm like, Brock, it's all right. It's just a little arcade game.
Wouldn't him and Campbell and like Chase Allen always get to it in the like Papa Shot? Yeah, they would all be like Papa Shot. They'd all be like having like the new record every day, and yeah, they would all
during COVID we would go to the field. What's it called? Johnny Majors and play and like just throw the football around and like run routes and stuff like that. And then we started playing. What's that game called with the ball, the net?
Spike ball.
Spike ball. Me and Brock. Well, Brock and I. Best duo. We never lost. We call ourselves Brock Squared. Brock Squared. We never lost. We would play like any Isaiah, Will. Like everybody would come over to Johnny Majors whenever it was COVID and we really couldn't be X. Everybody was over there. We never lost. Brock Squared, still on top. BP, you know what we do. Yeah.
Let's see. What about Campbell? What's a side of Campbell that the public doesn't see?
I think everybody kind of talks about it. His love for the game of basketball and going to his house and playing knockout. You'll see the ultra competitiveness in his. He doesn't like to lose, especially not. But I mean, they were just talking about it too. The Papa Shot at the facility, like he thinks he has the record. Probably still does. Yeah. Chase Allen had.
I was gonna say, is he pretty good at it?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can shoot a basketball pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah,
I don't like to give him too much. I don't like to blow his head up too much about that because he probably still thinks he can beat me, but he's a big basketball guy.
Yeah, I think some days he'd come to practice and he'd be like so fired up that it's like it'd just be so funny. Like he'd be so like he'd just be like he'd get into goofy moods or like he'd like come down like the O-line sometimes and like show us like how to punch or something, and he'd be like so like animated and like make so much noise like. This is what you gotta do. You gotta throw your hands and just like get into it. And it's always like so funny because like a guy would be like hold the bag and he's like doesn't even move.
Yeah, I think the funny thing about Campbell, this is why I love him. And people probably have seen this if you can see in our buses a little bit. He still has wired headphones, which I think is so awesome. In today's world of college football, Campbell rocking the wired headphones. That's
is it still the Gray Beats?
Yeah, I think so. It's got to be, right?
The wired.
I haven't seen him though this year, but that's what I love about him. I love it. There's so much, there's a lot of, in college football nowadays, it's everything's a show. It's a prime time, Coach Prime, and everything. And Coach Campbell's still rocking wired headphones.
One thing that is kind of funny is like, I remember Coach Campbell like coached his like daughter's softball team or whatever. And it was like getting all sorts of publicity about it. So I remember like asking him about that like one summer day or whatever, went up there and saw him and I was like, Coach, big softball season. He's like, everyone wants to beat me because I'm coaching. Like it's just crazy. He's like, it's not like they want their team to win. Like they want to beat Coach Campbell because they're playing against Coach Campbell. So it's kind of funny like seeing him being like, what's up with these people right now?
He'd always come back to the bus undefeated.
What is one thing you wish fans would know that would help players on game days?
Be quiet when we're on offense.
Celebrate when we're in the end zone.
Yeah, I think, in situations that can become intense, especially when we're on offense, you can hear the commotion in the crowd a little bit. And I don't think I never thought it was too bad, but rightfully so. I'm up there too, like nervous, excited for the next big play we're about to score, But it is nice when we do need to hear things out there. So just when we're on offense, least amount of noise as possible. But
defense be louder than hell though.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Give it your all on defense. On that, especially third downs. There's a lot of teams who win basically off of their fans causing like penalties on third downs.
Oh yeah.
Like if you can do that you're just another team.
Truly the 12th man.
Truly the 12th man. If you can do that.
One of my favorite memories I'll always remember, and I remember it when I listen to this song. I forget what team it was, but they played "Pursuit of Happiness" on. You know that song. Mm-hmm. On third downs, and like it would blend in perfectly with the crowd, and it got so loud. And I was like, okay, this is so cool. I forget what team it was, but third down environments, it's very difficult, on offense, and especially as an O lineman, you can't hear the quarterback, so you're going on a silent cadence. So you have to look in the your peripheral on where the ball's movement, and it's not fun by any means, and sometimes you kind of have to guess. So.
I'm glad you explained that because that's what I was going to ask was how does the fans being loud in those moments impact you guys?
Oh, it creates so much chaos.
For a running back, not as much, but you
chaos,
guys
like when you're trying to communicate
and
and stuff and you're like doing a lot of that, like there's definitely impact that it makes. So.
Especially when you're hearing the words of the defensive players as well too. Like obviously like offensive linemen, they only can hear behind them the quarterback and they have to hear it if you
going on silent
count, then sometimes people have it to where they're touching the person next to them, and even that you get a delay down the line. Yeah. But if you can't hear the quarterback behind you, you might was that it, and then just go, and then sometimes it just messes up timing, and then also the defense, if they're getting off the ball faster than you are, that's obviously a bad thing for them.
Especially third down, those situations where it's obviously past
the biggest, when they're coming off exploding, where they won't be as hesitant because it might be a run.
Yeah. I'm going to paint a picture here a little bit. Third down, and you're playing right tackle, and that the opposing team is bringing a blitz from the field. It might be two off the edge, but there's.
Are we in the boundary or are we?
Left hash, right hash, middle
true.
Field.
But as a right tackle, I now have to communicate with my left guard, and then the rest of the line. That I see a blitz coming. We're gonna have to adjust our protection. We're gonna have to bump one more out to pick up the blitz. And if it's third down, it's loud. There's no way the left tackle knows that his defensive end is going outside of him, and we're a bunch of stuff like that. So those are just little things it can make it really hard.
I think kind of to that point is that just show those situations happen, and when you're a high level offensive line and you've watched a lot of film. Obviously, any bit of communication helps, but when they start to show the tells, when you're an offensive lineman, you can, even running back and quarterback, what you can pick up on in a game and as a fan is so, crazy because, just, based off of alignment, people can't cheat stuff and, hide stuff really as good as they want to. There's some people that can hide it really well, but there's so many tells that, you spend so much time in the film room, picking up on things like that for that third down situation and how many times you rep that in a game or in practice. So that, hey, even if you can get something back one or two spots, then, hey, at least everyone is aware of, hey, they changed their front, linebackers bumped over. We can expect this in this situation.
Right.
When you look at game day in general, obviously a really, lit stadium is going to be good for anyone. It's a very exciting. That's why we talk about game day, what's it called? Just environment in general all season. Mm-hmm. How much do the nuances of the fans impact you guys? So the certain songs that they're singing and they're dancing to, or things that the student section does, or everyone's been talking about leaving at halftime. How do those things impact you guys as players?
I bought into it a lot personally. I loved it. Whether it's you're on the road either, so it's always cool seeing how fans react to stuff, and music is huge. I love music personally, so I was always listening to what songs being played. It would fire me up. I still have songs, my gym playlist that I remember. This is what Texas Tech played on. Well, I don't know, but things like that. I buy into it. And then after halftime, it can be hard. When you're trying to put a drive in, especially if you have the ball first. you want to start the second half strong. So, I mean, you kind of want a rallying troop. I also get on the other end now being a fan, why people do go out at halftime. So,
I mean, it's all cool. For me, I probably wasn't as like engulfed in all the extra stuff as much. Like definitely Juicy Wiggle. Like everyone knew the Juicy Wiggle because you know what that meant. Something was good was happening. So if we were listening to Juicy Wiggle, it was always a good thing. Swag surfing when we did that was always like fun when we did that. I think like the hottie that would be cool. Like that'd be like if I went to a stadium and they did that, I feel like I'd come back like kind of remembering like that's kind of like a catchy thing there. So yeah, it definitely does. Like Texas Tech, like I think of, hey, they throw tortillas at you. Like little things like that where it's like you just kind of remember little things about stadiums or like kind of what their game day environment was like. So it certainly does play an impact, but yeah.
It's college football. Like that's why we love the game. Like, all this stuff. This is why we love college football. That's why I like college football better than the NFL. It's just traditions and the fans, the students, the band, all that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm one person that believes in momentum, and I think all of that kind of plays into it, especially when
100%.
I mean, when you have all of that happening, and that's fan engagement. Like that's. I mean, it'd be boring if there was no music playing and all there was cheers when like good things were happening. I doubt many good things would happen if that was like what was going on. It's an environmental thing. Like that's why it makes it so much harder for the opposing team to do good when our fans are loud because it's an environment thing. They're not cheering for them; they're cheering for us. So it makes us like play. I don't know. It's play better. It's a momentum thing.
We felt it too as players because we played through COVID.
Yeah.
When we went through stadiums where there was like 20 people in the stadium, and then we went to stadiums where it was full. Like so, like truly the game day environment, like fans are so important. Like filling up a stadium. Truthfully, every single time I remember I'd come in to sit in the stadium, it'd be first, second drive, whatever, and just look up and be like, dang, we're full tonight. Like that would be like a little bit of extra juice. Like it didn't maybe like the noise level or anything like that isn't probably much different. But like just as a player being like, damn, we sold this place out. Like that's sweet.
Yeah.
Well, just like I feel like when there's more people in there, it shrinks the field for me and mine. So like when you go out there, say we have practice on the Jack Trice. Like when we have practice out there and no one's out there, the field feels so long. It feels like you got, especially from an offensive standpoint, when you have so much field to go to drive. When there's people around, it's like, okay, this a little more juice. Let's go. It's like we get this long field to drive.
Yeah,
now, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I loved getting booed on the road. Like when you run out and you boo. I love that. It fired me up.
I think the biggest one was OU. That was my like favorite place to get booed at going like out.
I loved when other fans would yell at us, just whatever. I loved it.
When I think of OU, it's kind of like the player experience. Like going to OU, whenever like you kick a PAT or like a field goal or anything, and they throw this football out of the stadium. It's like little, like it's something so small, but it's like you always remember, like, no, screw those people. We need that ball back. And then Iowa State did it to them. And then that kid got, you guys remember that?
He got kicked out.
He got kicked out of the stadium. Like, we got the ball, we threw it out, the kid threw it over the stands, and then they kicked him out of the stadium. I'm like, come on.
No fun zone. It's okay.
What are we doing here?
So would you say they're the best trash talking fan base in the Big 12?
Who?
OU?
Yeah. Or would you say there's a different one you would say?
Bro, I think it's West Virginia just because they go deep, bro. They cut so deep. Like, why y'all have to say the things y'all be saying to us? Like, I'm a human too, bro.
What do they say?
Things I can't say right here. Like, that's how bad it is. Like, what? Like, I'm a human too, bro. I live on. That was, for me, it was West Virginia. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah, West Virginia.
For me.
I always laughed at it. Like, honestly, there's a couple fan bases that, like, the student section is right behind, like, where, the offense meets.
Yeah.
So, like, they'd be, like, trying to, like, sit in, essentially. Like, they would essentially, like, try to, like, listen to our meetings and, like, talk crap to the coach or talk crap to players or, like, remember, like, hey, you did this or that. And that was always kind of funny. You get some good player interaction. Some guys that would, like, you'd be like, you're not, like, a freak out guy. And he just freaked out on some fan or something like that. It was a fun one.
It wasn't always bad. Like, I remember some of those student sections would just be like, hey, no. And then ask you some random question.
There was some cool interactions.
Yeah. No, there were definitely a lot of good interactions.
Like, Yeah. There was just some,
probably more good ones than bad ones, truthfully.
most definitely more good ones than bad ones,
Right.
but no, I mean, not at West Virginia for me.
Not West Virginia.
Oklahoma, I remember there was like the wrestling team was like sitting right behind us, and they were talking all this trash. Oh, go win Big 12 this year. David Carr won that year.
No, you're not.
What were some of the good ones? Like interactions that you guys had that like sticks out.
There were some people that, well, I think it was funny because it was what team did we go down there and like come back? I think it was Okie State we lost that game. What game was it when we came back and won? It was
On the road?
on the road our sophomore year.
Texas?
I don't know. We were saying something to the fans like, watch this, because we knew we were about to come back. Watch this. And then we came back and won. And then next thing you know, we went to that same spot and where they were, and they weren't there anymore. They like, got up and left. I think that's when you get like no response is the best response for something like that. When you can
You
kinda
shut somebody up.
You could shut them up just from going out there and winning the game.
A lot of them are funny. I remember laughing a lot more often than that.
Oh yeah, I feel like most of them like
you can sit on the-
like you're creative. You did a lot of research to pull this down.
Right,
Like, holy
There were
crap.
some people back there with like phones looking at all Instagram,
Oh, yeah.
Twitter, Facebook,
Yeah.
everything,
Oh my God.
just going trying to go ham on you. It's like, where is this dude getting this picture of me when I was in third grade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was always good when it's like one of your guys, like your teammates, you'd like giving him a grab to, and he'd just be like, "What the hell's going on now?"
Bro.
Next question. What coach on Iowa State staff is the scariest when they get pissed?
Well, I think the obvious answer is Campbell because it's,
Yeah.
it's the most important one, I think. But in terms of outside of Campbell, you don't like when a strength coach gets pissed. So that's what I would say. It didn't matter who our strength-
That meant you were gonna have some sort of punishment
Yeah.
come in. Or,
Yeah, that's what I would say. For
yeah,
sure.
I'd agree with you there.
Most definitely one of the strength coaches.
Yeah.
And really, it's like any of them.
And really, strength coaches, like, it didn't really take much to, like, some days they just woke up pissed off.
Oh,
So it's like, you don't even know what, like, no one did anything,
like-
but they're like, today's their day where they're getting pissed off.
And sometimes you need that in the locker room.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It wakes everybody up like, oh, today
No,
gonna
it
be
was
easy.
never, it was never over the top.
Today gonna be one of them days.
So, on the same note, someone sent this question in. Going down the list of the coaches, what are your favorite traits about them, and why did you want to play for them? You don't have to go through every coach. Maybe just one that sticks out to you, or you can do Campbell too. I mean, he is the head coach after all.
Yeah, I think it was more of for me at least, a collection of all of them. I think when coaches can be personable and build relationships with their players outside of your everyday football stuff, I think that's when coaches can be really beneficial because you start to buy into more than just the on-field stuff and more of a life coach sometimes too. So I think that's what I'd say for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of players, coaches on the staff, and they've always kind of just been the people that were there for their players as well as there to like coach them as well. Like also, like you said, good mentors and just great people to go talk to. And it wasn't ever to where you were like scared to go talk to them about something.
Yeah, no, I think they hit the nail on the head there. Good people. I mean, I said it earlier, Coach Campbell brings good people in, and you always got a lot of people that you can interact with then and go to. And, it was a lot of people owning their mistakes and going forward.
Yeah, I think, just being able to have fun too. Like, I think of playing, I think he plays Call of Duty sometimes with some of the guys, so I'm not much of a gamer, so I never did. But it's little things like that. Those are always the best coaches when they can be. First of all, Rosie, I think of Rosie when he was
Rosie, big, yeah.
Who's Skip.
Even Mouse.
We obviously sat down together and looked at these. Are there any questions that I've missed that we need to hit?
Oh, let's take a look.
Like I said, a lot of good stuff, but only so much time.
Oh, someone asked about knee braces.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
I
yeah.
had that one flagged.
Knee braces. Let's just. I'll give my opinion first.
Yeah.
Then you can give yours.
Let me
I have
say the
absolutely
question
zero
Okay, yeah.
opinion.
so that
Sorry.
people know.
Sorry.
Someone tweeted, I see a lot of teams with all linemen having full knee braces. Is there a reason we don't do this, or are they under the pants? Seems like a good way to prevent leg injuries.
Great question, by the way. I'm passionate about this a little bit. So knee braces, they're not fun to wear. We'll just put that out there to the start. They're not really fun. And we did used to wear them until this previous year. We got approval to not have you to wear them, not mandatory in games. We still wear them in practice on Tuesday and Wednesday practice, but we don't have to wear them in games anymore. And I tore my MCL and meniscus with knee braces on. So do they help? Did the knee brace probably save my knee from like a full, total knee, every ligament? Probably. But I mean, if you do, in games, I've heard, I did not wear the knee braces in games, that it just feels so freeing. And you can, if you're pulling or something, or it's just comfortable. I remember games and you'd have those knee braces on.
High knees.
Pretty much for, yeah, not fun. You pretty much have those knee braces on for 5 or 6 hours, and it does not get any easier the longer the game goes. So it's personal preference. I've always said, if someone's gonna hurt their knee on a play, it's gonna happen regardless of if there's braces or not. Mm-hmm. There's other theories also that the brace can be more restrictive, so your knee doesn't have as much movement to move, and that's how ligaments can get torn. So there's multiple opinions. I think it's fine either way, whatever a player likes. At the end of the day, you want to be comfortable and you want to play at your best level. So
yeah, pretty much everything. So I tore my MCL wearing a knee brace, and I think I would have tore a lot worse if I didn't wear it.
Exactly.
So in that aspect, I'm super glad that I had it on. Mm-hmm. But certainly there's times in my career I wish that I wouldn't have had to wear them. I don't know if I would have had the option not to after doing that. Before, if you would asked me before I did my MCL, I would have said absolutely I would have played without them. But after doing that,
right
now I'm it definitely slows you down. It's restrictive. Honestly, the first 5 minutes of warm up when you have knee braces on, your legs just feel like they're cramping, and then they kind of get used to it and the adrenaline's going and stuff. But it's one of those things that it's you wish you had the right answer. You wish you could come up with something that would protect the knee, but give you a little more freedom. But you're kind of sacrificing a little bit by doing it. So
I think there's some new things going on, and there's some leggings that skiers wear and stuff, where it's you can tighten it, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Technology's
changed a lot.
Technology, yeah. It's evolving. So that means knee braces are evolving. Yeah. It's a good thing for offensive linemen. But you watch the NFL games, none of those guys wear them. So unless you've obviously had a knee injury in the past, we would have. So, it's just personal preference.
Think about the NFL though. A lot of those guys buy insurance and stuff on their knees too.
Well, right, yeah.
So they're still getting paid,
right? Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
I'll end on this note. One of the non-football related questions. Would you rather fight 100 chicken-sized horses or one horse-sized chicken?
All right, bro. This is actually because would you fight a horse? Would you fight one horse?
I wouldn't want to.
Okay, but
hypothetically,
if my life depended on it, I'll give her hell.
Wait a minute, how many horse-sized chickens?
100 chicken-sized horses or one horse-sized chicken.
The horse-sized,
a horse-sized chicken sounds like a nightmare.
Bro, I'm scared. I'd low-key be scared of a horse-sized chicken, bro. Yeah.
I'm saying
think about how big a horse's nose is. That's the beak.
Yeah. So in my mind right now, I'm thinking of 100. What is it?
Chickens.
Chicken-sized horses.
Chicken-sized horses.
100 donkeys.
To me, it's not just 100.
100 small donkeys.
Yeah. I think I'm doing the 100.
I probably am too, bro. I'm punting them things.
Right?
I'm punting them things.
Bro. But there's 100 of them.
PETA's coming for you.
There's 100. That's a lot.
Yeah, PETA's about to be in our comments.
I'm punting them things.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm taking on the 100.
Yeah, I'm taking on the 100 too. I'm punting them things. I'm not fighting. No.
I think I can also see the other side where the one.
Just because it's one
chicken-sized horse, right?
Horse-sized.
But are you fighting a horse? So are you fighting 100 chickens or one horse?
the one would be
100
easier to deal
chickens.
with.
You're fighting 100 chickens. So why in the world would you fight
That's what I'm saying.
one?
Taking 100
You're
horses.
taking the 100 chickens over a horse?
Huh?
He's lost. It's
Yeah,
one giant
I think
chicken
we
or
both
100
agree.
small horses.
You just said,
I know, but I flipped it.
I know.
It was 100 horses.
Oh.
I said, so if you're going to fight the one chicken, would you fight the one horse if it was horses
I
instead
don't
of
know, man. This is way over my head. I don't know.
I'm fighting whatever it is. I'm fighting the
Well-
100. I'm not fighting the one. Whatever.
Make some We Will pizza tonight, and that's what's way over my head.
This guy.
So,
This guy.
Yeah, I think we'll just wrap it up. Final thoughts,
what a treat!
guys?
What a treat this was.
Did you
Yeah.
enjoy that?
Texas Tech.
We appreciate all of the fan interaction.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank
if
you
you
for
guys-
submitting.
If you guys have questions throughout the year, definitely always do reach out to one of us. Or
Yeah, man. Maybe we can add it at the end of the segment each week. Mm-hmm. Just your guys' questions, answer them a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, that was fun, guys. Should do it again sometime.
there we go.
Team on 3. 1, 2, 3, team.
Thanks for listening, guys.